We left you guys off on Friday talking about how much we loved that card, and it went big. We had a nice little 4-on-1 Friday. Small action over the weekend. Did not go so well, but light amount of bets. And small card today, but lots to like on this slate. We're going to go through it. John, now we have an evened up NBA Finals. Miami goes to Denver, gets the first win there in, 2,200 days? So Miami evened up that series. Do you have any thoughts on that NBA Finals game 2 last night?
Absolutely do. Wow. That's my thoughts.
Yeah.
Nuggets take a 8-point lead into the fourth quarter. Let's start from the beginning. So he come out. They're looking good. Struss, who goes 0 for 10 in game 1, knocks down a couple of threes. Everything was looking right for them. And then the Nuggets, they right the ship. They go on a run. And before you know it, they're back up 15, the Nuggets. They seem to just lollygag their way, and they're up 8, and it looks like they're going to cover. But they do what they did in game 1. Game 1, remember, 21-point lead going into the fourth quarter. Heat put up a run on to start the fourth quarter. But the difference was they had such a big lead, they got away with it in game 1. Well, game 2, they didn't. Denver's in trouble, and I'm going to tell you why I feel they're in trouble. Jimmy Butler did not have a playoff Jimmy game.
Yeah.
And I thought that would be the only way, if possible, that they could take a game in Denver. So Jimmy Butler now, decent game. Don't get me wrong. You know, I don't want to poo-poo 21 points. It's Jimmy Butler, but it's 21 points. It ain't the 37.9, a game that he was averaging first round when he single-handedly beat the Bucks. And that's what I thought he was going to need to come up with this game. Butler, Jimmy Butler last night, 7 for 19, 21 points. Okay, 7 for 19. And all of a sudden, the last 4 games now, Butler just 30 for 82, shooting 36.6%. So that's games 6 and 7, the 2 must games in the Celtics series, and 1 and 2 of the finals here. Again, good numbers, but not playoff Jimmy numbers. They got game 2. Not only because Bam played another strong game, but Gabe Vincent goes 4 for 6 from 3. They knocked down 17 of 35 threes, and that game was more that Denver lost it than the Heat won it. They come out in the fourth quarter on a 15-2 run after they were down 8 points, and I think Denver's going to be sorry if they let one slip away at home. Now going to Miami. We talked about it. Denver, great at home. Hadn't lost in the playoffs. During the regular season, second best home record. But on the road's a different story. They've been under 500 the entire year, under 500 against the spread, and just 4-3 in the playoffs. Miami, who was terrible at home covering all year, playing better at the end of the year and in the playoffs at home. Different team. All the pressure now shifts to Denver after losing the home court advantage. I like Heat or nobody in game 3.
Yeah, the role players stepped up. I mean, we talked about that coming into this series. You know, which of those role players are going to keep it going? Like you mentioned, Strus had the bounce back performance. Obviously, Vincent, what he did. Robinson, once again, though, that fourth quarter run. I mean, Robinson had all 10 of his points in the fourth quarter. They plugged him in there in that fourth quarter, and they go on that massive run. He has been a big ignite late in the games. Don't know why he doesn't get more minutes earlier in the game, but it panned out again last night. So credit to Spoelstra again. He's putting on one of the best coaching playoff runs we've seen in a long time. So got to give credit there. But Nuggets, they definitely lost that game. Wasn't as much so Miami beat them. And game 3, I leaned to Denver in that spot. Going down back there, obviously, you know, for the Heat, you just gained home field advantage. You have to be able to take care of business, home court advantage. You have to take care of business. But the 50% from 3, I mean, are they going to be able to replicate that? That's the big question. Even guys off the bench. I mean, Robinson already mentioned 2 for 3, Martin 1 for 2, Lowry 2 for 3. All those guys shooting very, very efficient. Can that become steady throughout the series? They're going to have to wait and see. Lean to Denver in that spot, but I was shocked that Miami pulled that off. Got to give credit to them.
Look, they shot lights out from 3, no question about it, but also shot 52% from the field. Joker goes for 41. He's going to have to replicate that again. You know, I actually wrote the preview already for game 3. So Joker had 41, and I put just in quotation marks, 11 boards and 4 assists. Joker averaging a triple-double in these playoffs. So it was Murray who picked up 10 assists in this game, in Game 3. Just like I said, right now, Jimmy Butler hasn't been playoff Jimmy. If playoff Jimmy shows up in Miami, like Denver's played on the road, they're going to have a problem. This line is sitting at 2.5. If it goes to 3, it's a no-brainer for me. I'll be on the Heat +3. I think this will be another tightly contested game. Look, Game 1 was a toss-away. Got to remember, Heat coming off that grueling game series. Denver coming off the sweep had a full week more rest. They were playing at home. Everything said Denver. And again, not what else could have gone wrong? Heat only took 2 free throw attempts in Game 1, an all-time record low for the playoffs. So with that, with Struss going 0 for 10, not a good game from Jimmy. Khalid Martin 1 for 7. And then let's just mention Spoelstra. Man, he just knows what to do. What does he do? He puts Kevin Love in the lineup. He sees Game 1. My guys, there's just too much size there. I got to play bigger. Puts Kevin Love in. Kevin Love grabs 10 boards. He's got that outlet pass that gave them a clear path. Just that one possession. I mean, so look, I just said this on Instagram. Spoelstra coaching, the best coach in NBA for my money. Not the coaching mismatch. I like Malone, so not the coaching mismatch. It was with Missoula in Boston, but he's the better coach, getting the job done. Denver's going to have their work cut out for them now after blowing a Game 2 at home to go on the road and get Game 3 in. We're just getting some lineups. Excuse me, guys. Get Game 3 in Miami. So yeah, my lean is the Miami game goes to 3. I'll be on them.
Yeah, we'll keep you guys updated on that Game 3 in the next couple of episodes. Obviously, we're going to be here all throughout the week, Monday through Friday, 1 o'clock Eastern. These are going to be up by maybe a little early on some of them. 8-game card today, John, with that Rays Red Sox game added. And we got a lot of spots to look at, John. Brewers at Cincinnati. Couple of carryover series from the weekend. Some of these going on to a 4-game series. And then a few new ones. This first one, though, already played 3 times this weekend. Milwaukee winning all 3. They've now won 10 of 13 at Cincinnati. Julio Teheran, how about what they've gotten out of him for 2 starts? What is it now? 2 runs, 1 earned, and 11 innings in his first couple of starts since 2020. And then Abbott, he's going to make his season debut here for Cincinnati. He had a decent time out his last couple of AAA starts, 2 runs and 7 innings. It's just tough to buck the trend there with Milwaukee. They're taking care of business in the series already, do it in the matchup history, did it all last year at Cincinnati. They do get Baltimore next when they return home. Maybe a little look there after already taking care of business in the series, but I don't know if I want to buck that trend. And also, I'm just impressed with Julio Teheran's given them so far in a couple of starts.
Well, Teheran is he's walking through raindrops a little bit. So we were on him in that outing at Toronto. We get the money there. But he did not strike out a batter. Only 2 swing and misses, so he's not missing bats. 40.9% hard hit balls against him. So let's just take it for what it is. Teheran is not that 0.82 ERA guy that we're seeing there. But Milwaukee, they absolutely own this matchup. Abbott, great stats in the minor leagues, but started the year at Double-A. This is a tremendous jump. He's had a couple of AAA starts. The last one was a good one. 7 innings, 2 runs, 8 Ks. But he started the year at Double-A. He comes up to the big boys now. He is a lefty, and Milwaukee just cannot hit lefties. 210 versus lefties this year. Excuse me. And they're hitting just 208. Despite winning a few games, scoring 6.7 runs per game this series, hitting just 208 this week. So still offensively challenged Milwaukee, but the Reds are a different team. They went into Boston. They were on fire. They were batting 3 games for the week. Friedel gets hurt. He's on the injured list, and it kind of coincides with that. All of a sudden, the last 4 games, the bats aren't going crazy, and you got a rookie pitcher making a debut. Started his year Double-A. For me, it's going to be Milwaukee or nobody.
Then we have Cubs at San Diego. Cubs lead the series 2-1. They've won 4 of 6 meetings this year. Cubs bats finally wake up yesterday, put up 7 runs. They're winning some games there against Tampa Bay in the start of this series, but scoring just 2 to 3 runs. It was getting a lot of pitching. Still got it done with pitching yesterday. Matchup is Hendricks versus Snell. Hendricks so far 2 starts. First one a little shaky, but bounces back against Tampa. 1 run in 5 innings and a 2-1 win, one of those low-scoring wins. 2 starts for San Diego last year, 1 run in 13 innings. They're going to need him to start getting back to stuff with Steele being placed on the IL. And then Blake Snell, he's been really solid in May. 4 of his 6 starts were quality starts. Last 2, 1 run in 11 innings. He has had some home struggles with a 5.68 ERA. And it's Cubs or nobody. It's a big dog price. This Cubs team has been playing, 2 straight series against Tampa Bay and San Diego, where they've been pretty much dog money every single time, and they're taking care of business. A lot of it's been that pitching, and Hendricks so far, coming back with a bounce-back start against Tampa Bay, the numbers last year. We'll see what they can do with the pitching today. But San Diego not hitting, so I don't imagine it'll be too much of a challenge for him to show up.
San Diego not hitting. We just keep saying this. When the news broke last year that Soto was getting traded to San Diego, we said this is going to be the best hitting team in the major leagues. They're almost the worst. If it wasn't for the A's, they'd be the worst hitting team in Major League Baseball. They're batting now just 220, just 221 on the year, 223 this week. Just look at that lineup and just can't see it. Can't see how they're not busting out. Just looking for a baseball move here. Hendricks, as Ben said, nice outing his last time out, so he's building up. The first one, not so good. A little better than last time. Really good against the Padres last year. Snell's had home struggles. Cubbies hit well against left-handed pitching, 279. Cubs are nobody at this price. I'm waiting on this one because the Cubs have won 2 of 3. I guess they think they can't win 3 or 4. Line opened up 155. It's as high as 171 at Circa, 170 at Sports 411. Cubs are nobody. I'll wait till this line plateaus.
Then we have a nice AL matchup, Astros versus Toronto. Toronto's turning it around now. They've won 6 of 7 coming off a sweep against the Mets. Astros are coming off a loss to the Angels. They won 3 of 4 in the series. They're 8-3 of their last 11 road games. Belak versus Manoah. Speaking of disappointing with San Diego, Manoah's just been the exact opposite there, especially on the mound. Horrible at home, 0-3, 6.83 in 6 starts. Horrible in May. 0-5 with a 6.15, 20 Ks, 21 walks. Can't back Toronto with Manoah on the mound. Yes, they've turned it around. The bats aren't really crushing it. They're scoring 3.7 runs per game. They've been getting some great outings from a lot of their pitchers, and can't say that Manoah is going to be one of the guys giving them a great outing right now. So this price looks a little bit on the name, less on the stats. Has to be Houston or no one.
Yeah, it's got to be Houston or nobody. Manoah's on auto fade right now, especially at home. Teams are batting .306 against him in Toronto. Bilak, not bad. 4 starts, last 4 starts, 7 runs over 22 and a third innings. In 3 of the 4's given up 1 run. He's going to keep in the game. Both teams are hot. Both teams are on a little bit of a winning streak. Again, Manoah, auto fade. Astros are nobody. This line opened up 135 on the overnight, down to 112 Sports 411, 113 at Circa. All the sharp money's on the Stros here.
We have Tigers at Philly. Baseball, what a weird sport. Wentz, he gets crushed in his prior 2 starts, gave up 11 runs in 6 innings. Then he faces the best offense in baseball and hangs in there, giving up 1 run and 4 1/3 versus the Rangers. And then Nola, last 2 starts, 9 runs, 4 homers in 12 innings. Has had some pretty decent home numbers, 2-1, 3.86. Phillies are coming off a win against Washington. They won the last 2 in that series. Detroit, tough loss yesterday, walk-off grand slam for the White Sox. It's a big number in this game. I lean here a little bit to Detroit. Have a hard time seeing Philly be this big of a favorite. Don't love backing the Tigers on the road. Don't want to be backing Wentz. But if Wentz can have any kind of a rollover from after that start against Texas, could see this as a decent price there for Detroit.
Yeah, Tigers, we took a shot on them Saturday. That was mainly with the pitching matchup. We lost with a wild pitch, a walk-off wild pitch. Then they used lose yet a walk-off grand slam. Right now, the Tigers are just making up ways how to lose ball games. They lost their best hitter, Riley Green, a couple of games ago, and that made a bad offense even worse. They're scoring 2 runs a game and hitting 190 this last week. 28th in scoring, 28th in batting. Cannot back the Tigers. Terrible road team. At home, they give you a shot. But Wentz is more the pitcher of the prior 2 starts, not the that it was a great start against Texas. He didn't even get to the 5th inning, but he was decent. Nola hasn't been good. We bet against Nola last couple of times out and been cashing on Nola. But Philly coming back, they'll look to build on at some wins. Philly, a much better home team. We've been betting against them on the road, but a much better home team, Philly. So I just don't want the Tigers here. Not advocating to lay a plus 200, a minus 2 and 2 change number, but don't want any part of the Detroit Tigers.
Then it's KC at Miami. Miami red hot right now, 7-2 their last 9, 4-2 on this homestand. They went down 5-0 against Oakland yesterday, rallied back at the win there. Royals, they avoid the sweep against Colorado with the 2-0 win yesterday, but their bats are ice cold right now, scoring just 2.25 runs per game their last 4. Garrett versus Hernandez. Hernandez is going to be used as an opener. Garrett definitely gets the pitching advantage. They won 3 of his last 4 starts, 4 runs across 21 and 2/3. He's been giving them good outings there for, with the way Alcantara's been pitching, it's Luzardo then Garrett right now, 1 and 2 for that Miami rotation. The only thing that could convince you to bet KC in this game is if you're hoping to get another almost perfect game out of a bullpen game, which won't be happening. So Marlins are nobody here. KC just too bad to be backing in a bullpen game. I don't think we're going to see what they did against St. Louis.
Yeah, that's what they went with a bullpen game against the Cardinals. That's how bad the Cardinals are right now. Don't see them repeat that. They needed 3 1/3 innings out of the bullpen yesterday to finish off the shutout of the Rockies. As Ben was saying, last 4 starts for Garrett, 1.66 ERA, 0.83 WHIP. Huge pitching advantage. Kansas City, the worst team in the major leagues, not named the Oakland A's. Marlins playing someone in baseball. They've won 8 of their last 10 at home. Granted, these last 3 were against the worst team in baseball, but Marlins doing what they need to do. Beat up on the bad teams. All of a sudden, they find themselves in second place, 3.5 games behind the Braves. I never lay favorites, but I make this game 190. The Sharps bet the Marlins in the whole 3-game series against the A's. Those games started just a little under 200 and then going over 200. It's Marlins and nobody, and you rarely hear me say that on a big favorite.
Yeah, those. The separation from Oakland to Kansas City isn't that large of a gap, and the money that you just talked about. It went up to 200 plus in those series against the A's. So that's even with some decent pitching there with Blackburn. They've got
especially in a bullpen game.
Yeah.
Bullpen game, and Garrett. Look, Alcantara who went yesterday. I watched that game. He's a wreck. Him and Manoah. I just can't believe these 2 guys are this bad this year after last year. Alcantara's your Cy Young from last year. Manoah, an all-star pitcher. The guys were great last year. They're horrible. Oakland A's banged him for 5 runs. Marlins just did enough to come back and win that game. So, Marlins are nobody for me in this one.
Then we have A's at Pirates. Sears on the bump for Oakland. They've won 2 of his last 3 starts are quality starts. They won the last one against Atlanta, 4 runs in 17 innings. He's been solid. Has had some road struggles, almost a 6 ERA on the road. And then Oviedo, he's been solid. They've won 2 of his last 3 starts, 5 runs in 16 innings. This is worst team in baseball versus a red-hot Pirates team. Pirates now won 5 straight. They get their first sweep over the Cardinals in Pittsburgh since 2018. They're climbing up that division. This is, as a series read, similar to Miami, if you're going to compete, you're going to have to beat up on the bad teams. I feel like there might be a little bit of a Pittsburgh letdown, similar to what we saw with Atlanta versus Philly. Atlanta has the big win with the playoff revenge against division rival, and then make the trip to Oakland. Pittsburgh doesn't go anywhere, so they have that going for them. But again, they get the sweep over Cardinals, who typically have owned them in that division for the last decade. So would be a slight lean here to the A's, big number. Not jumping out of my seat to bet the worst team in baseball, but for those of you guys who've been fading the A's every day, probably not the best day to do that today.
Yeah, I don't want nothing to do with the A's. The bad teams this year are really bad. The A's, the Royals, right now the Tigers on the road. Certain teams are just unbackable, and that's what the A's are right now. Don't want any part of them. Last in hitting, last in scoring. as Ben said, have to travel. Sears has been nice, but in Oakland on the road, not so much. Oviedo, decent. Where there might be a little letdown. Pirates only trail the Brewers by a half a game. So both the Pirates and Brewers have games that they might fall asleep on today. Brewers finishing their trip at Cincinnati. Pirates starting a new series after the St. Louis sweep. But, hey, these games are big games, so only a half game out. Just no reason for me to bet the worst team by far in baseball.
Then we have Cardinals at Rangers. It's Waino versus Perez. Wainwright gave up 3 runs of 9 hits against Kansas City his last time out. Every start before that was giving up 4 runs plus. He's not been looking like the typical Wainwright. And then Perez, he was smashed for 6 runs last time out in 4 2/3 and a win at Detroit. He's had some struggles. He's been a lot better at home, though. 3-0, 1.93 in just 3 home starts. Pitching edge definitely goes to Perez, especially being at home. And lineup edge obviously goes to this Rangers offense. I mean, what they do in that last series there against Seattle, put up double-digit runs back-to-back days. This is a red-hot Rangers lineup. They're now on pace up there with some of the top 5 run differentials in MLB history this year. So we'll see if they keep on doing what they're doing. But you put Waino in there. Wainwright seems like can give you 3 solid innings, and then it gets the second or third time around the lineup and doesn't stand a chance. So that's not a good sign there. Definitely hitters picking up on his stuff early. Rangers here or nothing.
Cardinals were held in check by Rich Hill. Yes, they've hit the skids. Cardinals batting 194 this week. They're scoring 2.33 runs per game, losing 5 of their last 6. Wainwright, 41 years old. Wainwright looks like maybe he should have packed it in. He's getting hit hard. He's getting hit hard. Ben said 3 runs his last game, and that was the first game he hadn't give up 4 runs, and that was against Kansas City at home. Big pitching advantage for Perez. I know Perez, his stats have been horrible, but at home still good. And the offense is 2 different directions, guys. As we said, St. Louis hitting 194 the last week. Texas crushing the ball, 338 this week. Lead the major leagues in hitting, lead the major leagues in scoring. Again, if you don't go by the names, Wainwright, Cardinals, Perez, Texas, go by the stats. There's no reason this game's not at 160. That's how I feel on this one.
And last game on the card, Rays at Boston. Rays get the win yesterday. They split the doubleheader on Saturday. They've won 6 of 7 meetings this year. McClanahan versus Bayo. McClanahan, 4 of his 6 May starts, quality starts. He's been very good. Been a little bit better on the road. He's had some good numbers against Boston. And then Bayo, he's been a lot better. 2 of his last 4 starts are quality starts, 6 runs in 22 innings. Did have bad numbers against Tampa Bay last year. Gave up 9 runs off 13 hits in 8 innings, but he's looking like a different pitcher from last year. So he's been making big strides. Big number here for this Boston team. A little bit disappointed in this Boston offense on this homestand, both against Cincinnati and against Tampa Bay so far. They haven't been competing as much as I thought they would. Big price here for Tampa Bay on the road. They're not getting it done as much on the road, playing around 500 ball recently. This would be home dog or nothing with Boston. I mean, Bayo's been giving them some solid outings. Tough to go against McClanahan. They just seem to figure out a way to get it done every time he's out there. But you throw in that road stat, that's a big, juicy home dog there in a division matchup.
Yep. Hey, McClanahan, one of the top pitchers in Major League Baseball, no question about it. Obviously gets the big pitching advantage here, but just maybe not as big as everybody thinks. Bayo now with Sale out is the Boston ace. 3-2. 2.67 ERA in 5 May starts. That's good baseball. He'll be pitching at home where, again, Red Sox lead the major leagues batting 290 in their home ballpark. Tampa Bay got off to a phenomenal start. Ridiculous. And we've been saying there's going to be some regression. There has been. So over their last 25 games, just 13-12. And that includes 6-9 on the road. It's getaway day. It's an early day start for Tampa Bay in a game that Boston really has to have. We'll see what Bayo could do. Just worth the price here. We sent this out to our How to Beat the Bookie members first thing this morning at plus 144. Best number you could take now, 136 at Circa. It's 130. Take back is 136 at Circa, 135 at Sports 411. Excuse me, guys. Plus 1. I was looking at the other game. Circa best you could take back's 132. Circa 133 at Sports 411. So Shops are on the Red Sox in this one. I know it's tough to buck McClanahan. This is a number play, division rival, home dog, getaway day for a team that's not red hot anymore. Still a good team. Still waiting on those lineups also. Franco was out yesterday. We'll see if that remains. But either way, like the Red Sox as the home dog in this one.
And that's that small Monday card, guys. The one early game with Boston, Tampa Bay. Everything else going to be taking place right later on this evening. And then we have game 3, the finals later this week. Obviously, we'll be back up here throughout the week, Monday through Friday. These will be up by 1 o'clock Eastern. I don't know if you have anything else, John. A little bit of, I don't want to say a bad weekend because Friday was phenomenal. Put us in the green for the whole weekend. But not quite the undefeated Sundays we've been seeing either. So hopefully we get on the right foot this week with Monday. So
Sunday, just not a lot to choose from. I like the Nationals, which was a loser on Sunday. The other game I had circled was the Yankees. Early in the morning, we saw that line start to climb. And I'm like, okay, something's wrong here. And what was wrong was they had the info that Judge was going to miss. We knew Donaldson was going to be out. Donaldson and Stanton had come back for the series on Friday. And head manager Boone said Stan would sit Saturday, Donaldson Sunday. So we were aware of that. Just should have been a take, but with Judge out, I mean, he does so much for the team. We just left it alone, and we left some money on the table there. But all the other games that we laid off of because of injuries all went down. We had a big lean to the Mets yesterday. That was a hot game. That line went from 120 to 140. But no Nemo in the lineup. No. You say, okay, but Nemo's a lefty. Kikuchi's a lefty. He is a lefty, but he hits 347 versus lefties. So that's a game we stayed off of, and we save a bet by not losing the Met game. We had a lean to Colorado. I gave you my opinion on Kansas City. Terrible team. Colorado won the first 2. They made the number too high because they didn't think they'd sweep them. I would have took the shot with Colorado. But Diaz, who hits over 300, Granchuk, who hits over 300, Charlie Blackmon, all out. All got to remember CJ Crone, Chris Bryant already on the IL. So it's okay. Who's going to get me runs there? So we stayed off that Colorado play. That's another bet we saved. And we were going to buck we were going to go with the Twins yesterday. McKenzie's first game coming back has had a couple of rough starts at the rehab. But again, Twins, they'd sent Gallo on the IL. Buxton, Correa, we're going to miss. And then a late scratch, Kirilloff, I guess his name is. And that kept us off that one. So what could have been an ugly Sunday, because we're on top of our game, getting the information. That's why, guys, if you're how to beat the bookie member, Sundays, sometimes we're early, but sometimes we wait till we get those lineups. If there's a game that we have to get on early, we'll get on it. Other than that, we want to see those lineups. Saturday, to a certain extent. Sunday's all day games, obviously, except the one night game. Day game after night game, you got to be careful. Guys aren't sitting. Getaway days. A team like Tampa Bay, such a big lead. We said there's always going to be a drawback. They're going to keep their guys healthy. It's the start of June. It's not October. So just bear that in mind. Kind of like what Denver did at the end of the season there. But, yeah, we're on top of all the games. We don't just throw some picks out there and go stick our fishing pole in the water for the rest of the day. We're here working the rest of the day, catching all the injuries, catching the line moves. So we'll even add a couple of more bets as the day goes on. But, yeah, so Sunday, one bet on a Sunday. And here we go on a 8-game card. And we've got 4 already and looking for more.
And we will be updating that website, like John said. If you guys haven't before, go to the howtobeatthebookie.com or download the How to Beat the Bookie app. You can get that in the App Store or Google Play. Sign up for a week. Go see what it's about. See all this information we have across all sports. You get previews for it. And, yeah, John, that's going to be a wrap-up for the Monday. You guys know we'll be here the rest of the week. Please like, subscribe, comment, help us grow. See all you guys in the comments. We appreciate it. And if you guys keep supporting it, we'll keep giving you guys the content. So make sure you guys support it. John, let's have a Monday, small card, but like you said, lots of love, and let's make some money.
Get this week started on a big time. Let's make some money.